Now, shifting gears to the most important part of every show, today's guests are Captain Kenneth Stanger, North Georgia Composite Squadron, Alpha Dog, Stand Strong, Civil Air Patrol, U.S. Air Force Auxiliary, Blairsville, Georgia.
Blairsville, Georgia. Yes, sir.
And Penny Barnett. Thank you, Penny. Thank you. Keith. Again, good Lord. And it's not a Monday when we're recording this time. Welcome. First off, what is the Civil Air Patrol?
So, Civil Air Patrol is it's a wholly volunteer organization aimed at the youth, ages 12 and 18. We try to do our very best to offer outside of school activities such as aerospace and emergency services, leadership training, things of that nature, and make it fun, but also be more of a guided entity for them to grow into be a better person as they exit the program. But that's in a nutshell what we do as far as what our organization is about.
Do you accept volunteers?
We do. We have they're called adult members now. They used to be called senior members, but we changed it. I think somebody got a letter, and we ended up changing it. So it's adult members now, and we do. It is a process. We don't just take anybody. Obviously, when you're dealing with children, ages 12 and then young adults up to 18, safety is priority for us. So we do have pretty strenuous background investigations done.
You have a protection policy.
We do.
In place.
It is called a cadet protection program. The adult members have two stages that they have to go through. The first stage is an FBI background investigation, so we make sure that happens. They now have to go through in front of a committee at the local squadron, an interview process, if you will, to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for our squadron and the caliber of person that we're looking for.
An FBI background check?
We do, yes.
Wow. Very thorough. Packy, you would never make it. Packy would never make it. There, he would be disqualified. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That is a very, very thorough examination.
Yes, sir, it is. We want to make sure the parents know when they're dropping their children off that they're in a safe environment.
Very good. How can someone, if they're listening and they have a child 12 to 18, how could they join as a cadet?
Okay, so you can visit our squadron. We meet on Mondays from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And they're welcome to come on any of the Mondays. We do require kind of a heads up so we can expect visitors. But they can come in. They can sit through one of our full meetings if they want. We'll discuss it with them, talk to them about what's the benefits of joining, and kind of probe the mind of the 12-year-old, if you know, as much as you can of a 12-year-old, find out what they want to do, if they like being outdoors, things of that nature. And if they decide they like it, then we require 3 meetings for them to get a good grasp of what is all involved with these classes. Because there is classroom time, but we try to do a lot of hands-on with aerospace and emergency services. So we want to make sure that they're comfortable with what they're seeing.
When you say your meetings are from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Mondays, where are they?
They are at the Blairsville Airport. We're on the hangar side. There's 2 sides of the airport. There's a terminal side and then the hangar side. The hangar side, the address for that is 2223 Airport Road, Blairsville, Georgia, 30512. You can't miss us. Once you go through that gate, you look to the right, there's a 4-foot sign. That's a big circle, has our logo on it. So you can't miss our front door. It's bright blue. And there's a sign on the gate that says Home of the Alpha Dogs. So you're going to know you're in the right spot when you approach the gate. And then just come on in, and one of our adult members will meet you and introduce ourselves to you, and we'll get to know you a little bit. And then typically, if I have a chance during the meeting, I will speak with them then. If I don't, I'll ask them to stay until the end, and then I'll take time to talk with them at the end of the meeting.
You mentioned you would like a little heads up that they were coming. How do they get you heads up?
They can go to our website, and I'll let Lieutenant Barnett, because we have a new website, and I don't have that in front of me, so we have a brand new website.
So the website is http://georgiaga152.cap.gov.
Good Lord, let's go through that one more time.
One more time. http://backslash.
See, it isn't easy, is it?
ga152.cap.gov. And you can also just find us on Facebook, where you can send us a message as well.
And what would I put in Facebook? What would my search be?
North Georgia Composite Squadron.
North Georgia Composite Squadron.
And if you're in the area, Google, and you just type in Civil Air Patrol Blairsville, we've been searched out quite a bit, so it should be like top of the list.
That would be a lot easier than trying.
I wanted to make it difficult in the beginning, right? I wanted to see who really wants to come and visit us. But yeah. That's another way of doing it too. So, and then it'll come to me, and then I'll respond. I typically respond within the first day, the same day, unless they email me at midnight. But I'll typically respond as quickly as I can, introduce myself, invite them over, and then I can schedule. Hey, we got people coming in. We'll need to meet them at the door.
Very good. What are the requirements? Someone's listening and they're thinking, I'd like to do this. What are the requirements for membership?
Well, 12 to 18 for cadets. And then after that, it's 3 visits. They have to be in our meetings 3 times, and that gives them a broad scope of what they're getting into, if you will. Then there's a online application that they would fill out. It is several tabs. We need health records. We need permissions. We need a lot of information so that we have the information in our records. And then there is a $65 one-time fee. I'm sorry, that's for adult members. It's $35 for cadets. So it's $35. It's a one-time fee per year, and that's it. And then they come in.
They've got to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident,
They
having
do.
no felony convictions. Packy
Yep.
couldn't do it. And they got to be in good physical, again, Packy couldn't make it, good physical and mental health. Oh, Packy, the more I learn, the less I think you're going to make it on Civil Air Patrol.
Well, good physical is a broad term, okay? Because if you would see me, I probably would fail. But for cadets, we do have a physical training program.
Very good.
So that will help them if, either way.
Folks, we'll be right back with today's guests. We're talking everything Civil Air Patrol in Blairsville, Georgia. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, folks. Today's guests are Captain Kenneth Stanger and Lieutenant Penny Barnett with the North Georgia Composite Squadron Alpha Dog Stand Strong Civil Air Patrol in Blairsville, Georgia. Oh. How can being part this to me should have opened with, because wow, this is awesome. With college being what it is, how can being part of Civil Air Patrol benefit your future college and career goals?
So for college, we offer several scholarships through the Civil Air Patrol. And also when you're filling out those applications for college and you're listing Civil Air Patrol as one of your extracurricular activities you're doing, colleges do look at that because we do teach certain things like leadership and teamwork and discipline that colleges look for. They want to know that when they're bringing on a new student that they're going to complete their tenure, whether it's 2-year, 4-year, 6-year. So they're looking for somebody like that. And the longer you're in Civil Air gives them a really good idea. Say they're sticking it out with Civil Air Patrol. We should look at these guys or these girls. So that is one of the major benefits of being in Civil Air while trying to also apply for colleges across the U.S. But yeah, that's the major benefits there.
Let's talk about costs. Y'all do a lot. How do y'all afford the activities, provide uniforms, field trips?
So we are a 501c corporation. So everything we do, we need fundraising to make the money. We do a major fundraising on the Blairsville Square during the Sorghum Festival. That is our bulk money that we bring in. And that will typically fund our squadron for the year.
Wow.
All right, so we have a lot of dedicated people in Blairsville that will come by and support us by giving us money on the Sorghum Festival area. So that's what we use to help our parents when their budget is a little tight. We can help them pay for clothing. We have a small storage of clothing in our warehouse that we can fit them in. They can sign for. When we need emergency services equipment, we use that funding to purchase emergency services equipment. We also use it for going out on SAR-X's and FTX's. We can use that to help get food for the cadets. And we also do trips. We try to do a major trip every year. This year we actually went to Dayton, Ohio, and went to the National Air Force Museum. So all that fundraising paid for all of that. And we had a lot of great donations from some of the parents that have parents that live in there, that live there, and they allowed us to come and stay at their church for free.
Nice.
So it was a blessing that they were able to help us out with that.
What type of training and activities can the cadets participate in? Specifically, I'm interested in your leadership training.
Okay, so one Monday a month, we call that our character development class. It's also our blues night where they get to dress up in their Air Force blues, or I should say Civil Air Patrol blues, and they get promoted and there's special awards given and things of that nature. And then when that's through, we have a character building class which is held by our chaplain, and she is a great teacher. She makes it exciting. She gets the kids involved when she's teaching. But each Monday or each first Monday, she has a different message. And it could be anywhere from honorism or being a hero. There's just a lot of things that she covers. And that's at the first block of that class. And then at the second block on that same day, our cadet officers will get with cadet NCOs and start teaching them some leadership classes with them, trying to get them either on track on being an officer, and also covering NCO responsibilities and how to interact with the airmen. And also our airmen our higher airmen, our chief master sergeants, they will get with the cadet airmen and talk to them about how they can help them advance. What are some of the things that they're looking for in Civil Air and how can they help? So it's all, if you will, a mentoring day for our cadets. And it is all on that second block. All the adult members kind of step back a little, and we let the cadet leadership take over because they're also learning how to lead. Yep.
Very practical. What benefits are there with the Civil Air Patrol for someone considering joining the armed forces?
Well, in particular, because we are attached to the United States Air Force, when you make an officer grade as a cadet, it kind of raises the eyebrow with the Air Force. They flag you almost, if you will. They want to watch you. They follow your progress because it's not easy to become an officer in the Civil Air Patrol. There's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. And so when they make that lieutenant grade, they're now being, they're in the top 35, top 40% of Civil Air Patrol because now they're in as an officer. But it really gets interesting when they make the Mitchell Award, which is a cadet captain. Because that's only about 5% of all Civil Air Patrol cadets make captain. And when you hit that, that is, for lack of a better word, a lot of skin in the game. So the Air Force looks at that, and again, Mitchell is a very difficult award to achieve. It's not easy. And they see that, and they see dedication in that person. So if they're thinking of the Air Force and they join, they could be accelerated into an E3 grade right off the beginning. So that is a huge pay increase, but it also comes with responsibility. And they wouldn't offer it if they didn't feel the cadet was ready for it. And if they've passed the Mitchell Award, then they're ready for it.
Sounds like it's a must. If I were going to go this route,
Yeah.
this huge leg up, huge.
But I don't want to take away from the Army, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, or the Space Force, because they all look at that too,
Sure.
right? My daughter is about to join in the Air Force, but she had the Marines calling her every other day almost, trying to get her to come and talk with them. But she opted for the Air Force, and so she's being onboarded to the Air Force now. She's got a couple more weeks, and she'll be raising her hand. But they all look at that, and so it's not just Air Force, but since that's our parent company, if you will, we kind of direct them if we can.
Sure. How does CAP contribute toward emergency services and aerospace education?
For emergency services, we have several adult members who are in that field for their job, and they help train these cadets all the way from a very beginning GTM 3, which is a ground team member 3, all the way up to a GTM 1, which is very advanced, where they actually have the option to work with dogs, search dogs, in that area. But we teach them how to search and locate downed aircraft and locate missing people. And when we find them, we teach them and train them on what to do when we do find them for emergency services. And that part of it is not easy. It's 20, 30-pound pack, and they're walking through the woods, and they have to work as a team.
Wow, that's
Yep. But it's fun.
pretty impressive.
But it's fun.
But it's fun. Coming from an Army guy.
Okay, explain, but it's fun.
But it's fun. You're out there and you're working as a team, and these cadets are learning to trust one another, learning to believe in their own particular skills that they have learned, maybe no confidence in having these things before, and all of a sudden they're out there and all the other people around them are celebrating and congratulating them on the smallest to the biggest of successes. So when you see these great big smiles on these cadets and you just see how happy they are, this is fun
Yep.
for 12, 13, for young children. This is great.
Very good, very good. We're down to our last 30 seconds. Little background. Ken, your military background.
Yes, I was in the Army in the 80s, and I served in a couple of years in the United States, several years in Europe, and then we came into Georgia and ended up joining Civil Air.
Okay, Penny.
United States Air Force veteran, served 24 years.
Thanks for listening, folks. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank y'all.